continuing here. We got this $1 store. I forget what state it was in, but apparently, at least the little girl in this family that was in the store took a $1 toy, a doll or something. You know, when you think about somebody calling the cops and arresting this family like they did, it's shameful. Internationally, Americans should be ashamed, absolutely, utterly ashamed. We're the laughing stock. We have become the laughing stock of the entire planet now over an incident like this. Can you imagine how foolish we look? This kind of news has to come out of America. Little girl has to see her mom and dad brutalized with guns pointed in their face over a $1 toy. God, what is wrong with us? What's going on in Iran with the tanker that was bombed, mined, whatever? I mean, this to me is a perfect example of a false flag. Officially, Iran denies it. They say, oh, well, we got this footage of this boat that's got the markings of the Iranian Republican Guard or something. And I think, you know what? If they want a pretext to go to war, they'll find it. Okay, because people can be set up. It's called a frame up. And I'm just putting the possibility out there that it wouldn't be new if this was a frame up. You know, we got all these anti-smoking ads, and you know, do you ever see them show the exception that sometimes people live a long time as smokers? They can live to be 112, as in the case of one Mr. Richard Overton, who attributed his longevity to smoking and drinking whiskey. Um, they don't do anything to educate people about diet and the factor that diet has in it. Like Leonard Nimoy and his wife is saying, oh, it's all because of his smoking, his COPD. Well, do we ever talk about self-control? There's a whole lot of addictive substances that are very unhealthy out there. It's not just cigarettes. Okay, why isn't anybody else having to pay for ads that they think are despicable, that aren't given the whole story? Okay, because depending on your diet, you could smoke and get away with it. And you could not smoke and not get away with a bad diet. Okay, it'll kill you pretty quickly. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just totally unfair to, and especially in light of all the progress that's been made on smoking in society. Practically become a non-issue, but we're just going to fixate on smokers and just make them feel completely idiotic, stupid, and just foolish, and that's it. We're just going to keep charging them more and more and more, and we're going to get them to quit this way, which they can't afford to smoke anymore, and that's it. Tough, man. But how do we feel about junk food? Oh, that's fine. Sell them all the junk food they want. But you can really hurt yourself. Try a diet of cookies and soda pop. See what happens to you in about a month. Are you being educated about that? No, it's just smoking. That's what's going to keep you healthy. If you just don't smoke, yeah, you can eat Oreos and Coca-Cola. That's it, man. Just it's what you want, eat it. You hear any ads telling you that's not a good idea? Come on. You know how you're going to feel in a month of eating Oreos and Coca-Cola? Okay, you're going to be one miserable character. And you'll be dead, believe me, before long. You're going to get diabetes. You're probably going to get pancreatic cancer, and you're going to drop dead. But you could live on it in the meantime and not smoke. Every time you want to smoke, just grab a cookie, grab a Coke. And all these substances that can harm us, but no, there's no discussion. Yeah, I can't get away from talking about this gal that I'm in love with. God, I just hope so badly that she'll give me a date. Um, Please, sweetheart. God, take me away, honey. Stay here. Let's, separate resident. I don't expect anything from you except a little bit of your time. I just want to be in love. I mean, we can live separately. We can be married. We can have it all. We can have our cake and eat it too. If God says we can, who's to say we can't? Okay, I don't need a piece of paper. I mean, hey, if I ask you to marry me and you say yes, dude, we're married. As far as I'm concerned, the two have become one. What's really important is what happens in God's eyes. Okay, that's really in our eyes. It's between you and I and God. That's it. I want you, baby. You're spectacularly perfect. I don't know how else to describe it. You go beyond words. But I'm utterly smitten. I'm glad my life has already improved so much. Just seeing you, just knowing that there's a girl I can really give all of myself to. I just know that you're just that one. I just can see us merging into one, and I just want you. So I want a chance. I want a date. See if see if the spark is there. If you see something in me that you find irresistible. I know that I'm a prize. I know I'm one of a kind. That's it. I've got a lot of good features, characteristics. I don't want to talk about them, but I'm a lover. I'm a good guy. I am a puppy dog among men, and and I know what you are. And I think we're a perfect pair. I think we're a lot alike. I think we're both sensitive and intuitive. And God, I would love to have your hand, sweetheart. Just give me a freaking date. I'll be satisfied. I'll shut the hell up. One date, and I shut up forevermore. If you say he's not my cup of tea, then, dude, that's it. That's it. Maybe you're not my cup of tea. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I just imagined everything. I don't know. But I'm taking the chance, sweetheart. But you could definitely make me the happiest man on earth. Hands down. End of story. In fact, I was so smitten at one point. I just went out a couple of months ago and I bought a ring with her birthstone, a promise ring. And, I expected to have to pay, because it's a genuine stone and gold and all this, and I expected I would have to pay. The price at that time was close to $1,000, and it would have been over that with the insurance and the adjustment contract and all that sort of thing. But it was just like somebody paid for it. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I paid a lot less than what I was expecting to pay. And they assured me it's a genuine stone, and I've had it for a couple of months just in case she called me and gave me a chance. But maybe I'll maybe I'll show it if I have time. Locally, they had a homeless report, homeless cause, and they interviewed people. These young women were saying, "Oh, it's just me. I just dropped out, and I don't like the paying rent, and I'm out here. It's my own choice, my own will." Young woman who they interviewed in this report. But they don't talk about the fact that we've got this ever growing housing cost, ever growing burden. And I mean, we've got this huge welfare system. 50 billion a year goes into just subsidizing housing for those that can't afford it, and the problem just seems to get worse. It's insanity. I mean, do they talk about this in the report locally? No, they didn't talk about that in the report locally. But yes, they should, and they should try to educate people. They should, talk about the wealth disparity, how it keeps growing, and the real estate is unaffordable. And the majority of California residents are renting, and they're finding it less and less affordable. How people are living one paycheck away from homelessness in a lot of cases. They don't try to really educate the public in this local piece. So I'm critical of it because it just fell really flat to me. It didn't portray the reality at all and the causes of homelessness. I mean, of course, you've got some people that are dropping out. They're drug addicts or alcoholics, and they blame themselves only for being weak. But the only reason we need this social welfare system is because the money printing class, in collusion with the top government officials that rubber stamp everything the money printers want, diluting our currency effectively. This critical mass running the country, less than 10% of the people agree with them. That's according to the bailout of '08, where 90% of the American people didn't agree with the bankster bailout, but it went through anyhow. But it's a critical mass, and then they have the nerve to call it a democracy. The critical mass, the amount needed to get the job done. Are they trying to educate people about these kind of things? And this is what caused the housing bubble. These criminals that were bailed out, they caused these problems, and that on purpose, intentionally, so they could steal people's houses in these mass foreclosures. Instead of making Joe Bag of Donuts whole and bailing him out, no, they bailed out the criminals that deliberately caused the problems. Are they trying to educate the public locally about this being the root problem of the homelessness? No mention about the 50 billion a year that goes into Section 8 housing and how it'd be dramatically cheaper to just buy people houses instead of spending the money on renting. I mean, do we know the difference anymore between renting and buying? Good grief. We, the taxpayers, I mean, think about it. You're paying those taxes. You're being told you don't have a choice to buy, you have to rent. And it always falls on the backs of the poor the hardest. The burden's always placed on those that are ready to break. There are chains in this link. There are links in this chain of humanity that are the closest to breaking, and they don't care because there's a demand on things. So there's plenty of new strong links to take their place. So they don't care how many links they break, and that's the way it's working. I mean, they're just snapping them like crazy. And that's who's going by the wayside, the weak links, the people, the weak people in society that can't cope. And I say weakness, tongue in cheek, because a lot of these are good, decent, upright people that are otherwise strong, but they just don't like being taken advantage of. They don't like being enslaved. They don't like excessive, undue burden placed on them through ever higher rents and mortgages. So yeah, they drop out, and then they blame themselves. So it's really sad. I mean, this is the kind of stuff they need to talk about in these kind of reports. Okay, my friends. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I love you all, and I want the best for everybody. I know that I can say that so confidently because I want the best for myself and my family. And you're not chopped liver. You're God's precious child, whoever you are. Even if you're my enemy, I love you. And it's easy to forgive you once I learn how to forgive myself. And God's teaching me that. And it's got to be complete. I've got to forget my sin as far as the east is from the west. And that's what I want to do for you. And I need to repent. I need to change my ways. And I need to get on a new path, just like we all do. We need to reaffirm our decision every day with God and say, God, no matter how many times I got to fall down, I beg you, pick me up. Please, let me turn to you. Okay, Put me on a short leash. I don't want to wander far. I don't want to go astray. I want a pure, clean, righteous heart. I want to be found worthy and deserving of inheriting a better world.